Hello and welcome to my new series you might have missed. Generally my MO is brand new indie games, but every so often I get a Steam key from a developer for a game that's been out for a few months, sometimes longer. The reason I sometimes get access to these games is because they haven't got much attention, and many of them are very good games. I just feel like I can't make a video about them. Until now at least. My YMHM videos will be full reviews, and unlike my other series Show and Tell, they will always be positive. They might not be glowing reviews, many of these games will have problems, the recurring theme of which seems to be a bad length to price ratio, but that problem to me has always been a superficial one. You can add games to your wishlist on Steam and be notified when there's a price reduction. I'll give you a ballpark of what I think each game is actually worth in the verdict. So, you might have missed Lumini. A 2D action-adventure is what I'd call it from an objective standpoint, but the key element of Lumini is its relaxing and emotional vibes. It is an action-adventure in that there are tense moments, but ultimately you play Lumini because it gives you that swelling, shuddering motor response, and if you're anything like me, that's your heroine. Lumini's presentation is its trump card. It's a game made in Unity, so of course it's beautiful, but it has a lot more to it than the typical beautiful engine look that can and has gotten tiresome as more Unity games have been released. You go to a lot of different environments in this game, and it tends to be the reveal of each new area that has that emotional pull for me. They even ripped off Jurassic Park a little bit. The environments are extremely pretty, but on their own they wouldn't be that impressive. It's the timing. The music comes in at just the right moments, and the level design is timed with it so that when you pass certain triggers in the level, the music does what it needs to. In other words, the music is dynamic, and I have to say it's maybe the best element of this game. But we're not going to leave presentation without taking a look at another aspect of design that the developers seem to neglect: graphic design. All throughout the game, whenever text appeared or when I collected a purple gem, I have to be honest, I cringed. The font is not good, and the collectible overlay is straight out of Crash Bandicoot from 15 years ago. It might seem like a nitpick, but it really cheapened the whole experience and clashed with the otherwise beautiful game. Unfortunately, the weakest element of the game is the gameplay, which will be a deal breaker for a lot of people, and I don't blame them for that. We'll start with the negative and end on the positive. In this game, you are controlling a school of flying fish, dragonfly things called Lumini. Your health is represented by the number of them that you have with you, and if you lose them all, you go back to the previous checkpoint. The three colors each have unique abilities, and you can switch between them at will, blue being speedy, red being aggressive, and yellow being the gem collector. Yellow was really the third wheel throughout this game. It didn't really have much of a place, and I never used it. It does become slightly more useful towards the end when you're collecting gems from inside Venus flytraps, and I think you could argue that getting lots of gems is important because that's how you get more Lumini. But the idea is undermined by the fact that the game is quite easy. There's nothing wrong with that, and there's a hard mode that you unlock after beating the game that I never tried, but honestly I think the biggest misstep with the difficulty is making it so that you have to beat the game to unlock hard mode. Assuming hard mode is hard, the difficulty wouldn't have been an issue at all if I could have played it from the start. The game is already short, and it's padded out by these unbelievably tedious and easy puzzles that just don't belong in this game. They stagnate the pace and aren't satisfying to complete, yet they come up again and again, and they always have the same solutions. All that said, I actually did find it satisfying to switch between the red and blue schools of Lumini to create a synergy and fight enemies in relatively tense action sequences. I felt powerful when I did it right, and it keeps the battles fast-paced and exciting. The story is simple and things become clearer as you play. It's not really a story that can be explained in words without using information from outside the game itself. The environment around you tells the story conceptually, with a few dramatic twists and tone throughout that keep it interesting. It has a satisfying but typical conclusion, and the world remains magical throughout the experience. There's not much else to say about it. It's really something you have to play and discover for yourself. Much of the reason games like this end up not being successful is because of their price point in comparison to their length, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. I think this game that I completed in 90 minutes is worth around $5 to $7. Right now it's priced at $13 on Steam. I think Lumini is great if you want to scratch that goosebump itch, and if that's you I'm talking about, my recommendation is putting it in your Steam wishlist and waiting for a sale when it gets closer to that $5 to $7 mark. Thank you very much for watching. If you thought this review was helpful, then feel free to leave a like. If you thought I provided no useful insight, go on, leave a dislike guilt-free. If you want to keep up to date on new indie games, you can check out my other series, Show and Tell, and if I may be so bold, consider subscribing while you're there. See ya.